This is one of those stories I can think about endlessly. This will forever go down as aviation's biggest mystery. This is the disappearance of flight MH370. It's March 8th, 2014, and 239 people are on board a Boeing 777 heading from Kuala Lumpur, which is in Malaysia, up to Beijing, China. It's a 6-hour flight that leaves just after midnight and should have arrived in Beijing, China around 6:30 a.m. We had 2 pilots on board, a 50-year-old man who had worked for Malaysia Airlines for the past 30 years, and a 27-year-old man who is a brand new pilot, co-piloting this Boeing for the second time ever. At 12:40 a.m., air traffic control gives them the okay to take off and fly at 35,000 feet. So the first odd thing to happen is 19 minutes into the flight, the pilot calls into air traffic control and confirms they're at 35,000 feet. I'm not a pilot, don't claim to know anything about aviation, but apparently this is an odd thing to do, is to confirm what you were told to do. Then 25 minutes after takeoff, he does the exact same thing, calls air traffic control and tells them that they're flying at 35,000 feet. Now, 37 minutes into the flight, Kuala Lumpur Airport air traffic control tells the pilot to no longer contact them since they were leaving their airspace and to contact Ho Chi Minh City, which is in Vietnam. So it was on the way up to Beijing. The pilot confirms this direction, and this is the last time anybody hears from them. Moments later, they turn off the transponder on the airplane. Now, Beijing, who's expecting this plane to come in, doesn't see him on the radar and doesn't alert anybody for 40 minutes that they don't know where this plane is. Now, even though they turned the transponder off, there's a military base that was able to pick up the radar of the plane and showed this. The plane had been flying completely erratically. 40,000 feet all the way up to 60,000 feet and then drops down to 4,800 feet, just all over the place. So immediately, search and rescue teams are sent out to try and locate this plane. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of miles, though, and they weren't able to come up with a single shred of evidence that this plane even existed. So immediately they start wondering if there's more sinister reason, and they start looking deeper at the pilots. Although there were a couple odd things that they learned, they could not come up with a single shred of evidence proving that either one of them had anything to do with this. We do learn, though, that on his last flight, the younger pilot had let these 2 beautiful women in the cockpit for an entire international flight, including takeoff and landing. Days later, officials discovered that the plane was equipped with satellite communication system, so we learned from this data that the plane continued to fly for 7 hours after the transponder was turned off. I'm running out of time, but the point is, 9 years later, they have no idea what happened to the plane or any of the passengers.